First exercise, 3, 2, 1, in. Just let that rhythm wash over you for a second. It's punchy, right? It's direct. It literally drops your brain straight into this focused, action-oriented mindset before you even know what's happening.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're dissecting a fascinatingly sparse piece of source material. We're looking at the raw transcript of an interval training sequence. And yeah, sure, on the surface, it might just look like a repetitive string of words and brackets, but there's this surprisingly clever architecture hidden right inside its rhythmic cues. By the time we wrap up, you'll see how just a handful of words and sounds can completely engineer human behavior and push physical exertion to the absolute max.
Section 1. The structure of rhythm.
So while this text kind of reads like an unending loop of fitness shouting, it's actually designed to hack your attention. When we really do a close analysis of the source text, we aren't just seeing a random barrage of commands. Nope. We see exactly 6 distinct exercise intervals perfectly mapped out in this super brief sequence. That is 6 totally distinct peaks of effort.
And every single one of those 6 intervals relies on a super strict 4-part loop. First up, we've got the announcement, first exercise or next exercise. This basically cues your brain to reset. Then, step 2 is the countdown. 3, 2, 1. Step 3 is the final command, begin. And finally, step 4, the auditory cue, which is represented in the text by brackets like music or bell. These 4 steps create the foundational rhythm of the whole entire sequence. It's a formula. And honestly, your brain loves a formula because it tells you exactly what's coming next.
Section 2. The 3-2-1 countdown.
Let's look a little closer at that psychological anchor. The really crucial point here is that the 3-2-1 acts as the one constant element across all 6 rounds. Think about it. The music shifts, the bells chime at totally different times, but the 3-2-1 absolutely never wavers. It appears identically before every single begin command. Why? Well, it creates this predictable cycle of tension and release. It's deliberately building up psychological anticipation right before the heavy physical exertion starts. It's literally the launch pad, and that consistency gives the speaker total authority over the listener's movements.
Section 3. The auditory landscape. Now, what happens when we look at the sounds between the words? This is where the source material shifts from simple commands into a surprisingly complex sensory experience. In the early sequences, the bracketed music cue pops up strictly before the word begin, like right between the countdown and the command. But check this out. In the later sequences, the music starts appearing after the command, or it even interrupts the setup entirely. The placement of the auditory cue is physically shifting its position as the sequence goes on and, as fatigue starts to set in. These aren't just random typos. These slight variations in the auditory cues are deliberate design choices meant to crank up the complexity of the soundscape. Early on, it's super simple, just isolated music. By the middle exercises, a bell is introduced to literally snap the listener's attention back. And by the late exercises, the text shows combinations of bell and music hitting simultaneously. The soundscape is just getting louder, busier, and way more demanding, which perfectly mirrors the intense physical strain of the workout itself.
Section 4. The cycle of repetition.
So, this repetitive nature isn't just about doing the exact same thing over and over. It actually builds chronologically into this awesome narrative of escalating intensity. Round 1 starts with simple music cues. By round 2, we get a double music cue and the very first bell. Then, round 4 starts messing with the formula, injecting music before the countdown even kicks off. Notice how by round 5, we hit this incredibly dense, chaotic cluster of bells and music. Tracing this progression shows how the frequency of these nonverbal tags clusters together, creating an absolute peak of exertion and sensory overload right at the climax of the routine.
Just listen to the phrasing of this 5th round. Next music exercise. 3, 2, 1, music begin, bell, and music. I mean, it is exceptionally dense. The rhythm is totally frantic here. The brackets are practically tripping all over each other. This is exactly what peak auditory complexity looks like on paper. If you are actually following this routine, this is the exact moment your heart rate is maxed out and the instructor is just throwing every single sound effect they have at you to keep you moving.
Section 5. The final resolution.
But, all tension has to break eventually. After all the shouting, after all the bells, the complex music tags, and those relentless 3-2-1 countdowns, the sequence abruptly ends with this stark, standalone utterance. It's so quiet. It's deeply, almost intimately human. It's the sound of satisfaction, of catching your breath, of a job totally completed.
That rigid, robotic cycle of commands dissolves instantly into a simple, natural human affirmation. It's just a brilliant concluding contrast.
So we've seen how just a few simple words and bracketed sound cues can totally engineer a state of crazy high physical output. The invisible architecture of rhythm is incredibly powerful. So my question to leave you with today is this: how do rhythmic auditory cues and countdowns shape your own daily focus and routines? What are the 3-2-1s and the bells in your life that trigger your habits? Really think about it next time you set an alarm or hear a notification or push yourself through that final rep. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep your ears open to the rhythms around you.